All right, it is Thursday, May 13th. Welcome to Living Room Sports Talk. Here, Coley, Zach Rothenberg, got the great Chad Catcher, but rolling along here. Look at this. I feel like not a whole lot of energy in my voice. We got our ass kicked in softball last night. Yeah, and I don't know why. I guess BJ Baldwin must have a fan base in the Central Time Zone because it was an 8:15 first pitch. So, so you get done that game at like 9:30. You're done meeting with the media and showering and stuff, and you get done at like 10:30, and you don't get back to your mansion until midnight. But right, that's the dream. We got smacked around. We lost. Well, we got to run for every inning because it was like almost like covering a spread because we were the non-competitive team. Like in this, they had to basically put all the teams in like the different like competitive levels together. So if you were like in the bottom level, like gave you like runs, and we lost 14-9, but we got 7 insurance runs. So we lost 14-2. Anyway, all right, let's get to a show. We got a good show for everyone tonight. So I guess at that point, because I know we obviously had a lot of posting and stuff, so we were gonna have Myron Mixon on tonight. But then obviously with everything with Keto Barbecue in their book, we're just going to reshuffle the times and dates and stuff, so stick to social media for all the updates on that. But to that point, real quick, guys, we can talk football. We got a lot of football to talk about tonight, I feel like, right? Like, kind of bread and butter for the show, I feel like that's kind of where I feel like our talents, if you will, lie. But obviously, the NFL schedule released as I was, getting kicked around. But yeah, you guys excited? You feel pretty good about the schedule being released?
Yeah, it's like I feel like the draft and then the schedule release, and then it just builds up all the excitement, leading up into the year to come. It feels like it's right around the corner, but in reality, it's like 3-4 months away. But helps keep us engaged. Can't talk tonight in the offseason, so just super excited. Absolutely.
I'm interested to see what a Week 14 bye feels like. It's just unbelievable. I've never obviously adding a game. Add some extra nuances into the scheduling, but Week 14 seems like almost counterintuitive. Like you're almost going a full season worth of games without a break, but we'll see what happens.
I know, it is bizarre. And it's funny, to that point, I know this is normally the spot in the show, be like, let's start the show with clickbait. But I feel like this is a tradition every year. Well, first of all, we'll make the point of this, I guess, in just a second, but generally, I feel like the NFL in the last, I don't know, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it's about the last 5 years, 10 years, the NFL's more 5, that the NFL has really tried to almost leave a little bit of a footprint in the schedule being released. Now it's right, it's like an event, kind of a holiday, if you will. And with that comes, we got the chat cooking, all those everyone fan. How you doing tonight? Look at that. I want to hear from the chat tonight too, especially with all the different fans we have. But to that point, I feel like with this whole new holiday, this make-believe holiday, if you will, the next day it's every article under the sun is da-da's. Like, look at this. I pulled one up for WIP chat. You'll love this. It says, like, John Ritchie Eagles could easily go 0-7 to start the season. No, stop. Stop. Like, it's stupid. And it's not just, I'm not even just taking it from the generic take of, you never know what's going on, but it's like, right, there's injuries. You don't know if Sirianni's going to be a good coach. Like, it's just so stupid. We're so far, it's a one-day league, and it's a one play. It's the amount of these games that are determined by a moment, a play. It's like you can't just say that and write articles in May and say that this is going to be the record.
Yeah.
You got it, Zach.
No, I was saying, it's just a ton of speculation. It's nice to get excited and run through and try to figure it out, but it's all at the end of the day, it's pointless. So.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it 1,000% for talk shows, like, even a podcast like us or just any, radio talk show, because you can only talk about baseball, and the NBA is, depending on if your team is going to make the playoffs or not, same for the NHL. It's kind of that weird time of the year where you don't have all that much to talk about, so it makes sense for those type of shows, but I don't know, to write an article, to put that stuff into writing, and it makes no sense to me, because these same people will quite literally write a completely different article when we get into training camp and start to see what these teams shape out to be. So it's fugazi.
We got Uncle Ricky in the chat there cooking too. No, you're so right, Chad. I mean, I exactly. It's like just speaking in hyperbole in May. That's all it is.
Yeah.
was also thinking that this might be a little different for fantasy this year. We might have 14 regular season games now instead of 13, right? Because there's an extra week added.
Dude, you're playing chess. I'm still in the checkers level. I'm just like, oh, that's right. Yeah, I guess it would be.
No, it's just stupid thoughts late at night when I'm thinking about all my draft picks I traded away. So it's all right.
Dude, you got it. Okay, Gibson's gonna be a good pick.
Well, I don't have a second round pick or a third round pick, so
it's all right. It's all right. Hey, you got 2 rings now. But let me ask you this: looking back on the release, like first of all, did you guys like watch it? Like, was it like did your night? I mean, was it Wednesday night? Like, did your night tailor around watching the schedule release, or like no? I mean,
no, not at all. like I said on Monday's show, the schedule release means absolutely nothing to me, whether the Eagles are projected to be a great team or a bad team. Because until the season starts, I pretty much chalk every game up to a loss anyway. So it doesn't matter who we're playing when.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it either. So no, I mean, I feel like that's like not something you need to see live. I feel like you're gonna get the news alert on your phone. It's gonna be the same the next day as it is at 8:00 last night. So no, I didn't watch it.
Well, okay, so to that point, you get like you were saying, Zach, and I was in the same boat. You get the alert on your phone, right? The Giants released their schedule, the Eagles have released their schedule, the Packers have released their schedule. So you pull it up. It's almost like you're a kid on Christmas. You run down the stairs. Like what are you looking for under the tree? Like big presents, a lot of presents, like maybe a particular shape of a present you wanted. Like same thing with like the schedule, right? Like you look at the schedule. Like are you looking at like primetime games? Are you looking at holidays? Are you looking at when the bye week is? Like obviously you're looking at all those things in some capacity, but like when you kind of grab it, putting it on the spot, like what's kind of the first few things you're thinking of, like that you're itching to find out about the schedule?
Yeah, the first thing that I look at is the bye weeks. I feel like like for example, like Chad said, it's like a week 14 bye. Like, are you serious? Like you don't want your bye week to be. I feel like you don't want it to be like week 12 or 13 or later, and then you don't want it to be super early either. So it's like to me that's like super important. But we've seen teams have success either way. Like the Bucs were a week 13 bye week last year, for example. So we've seen teams be successful either way, but like I don't know. To me, I think that's super important. That's the first thing that I look at.
Yeah, I would say normally it's prime time. The Eagles only getting 2 this year is pretty on par for the year that they're expected to have. But it is always fun when you're in that grouping of teams like the Packers where you're leading the league with 5 because. The great thing about it is that means you only have you have 5 to start, but if you're an elite team in this league, like the last 2-3 weeks of the year, you're going to be playing on primetime anyway. So 5 ultimately means 7. So it's something fun to look at.
Yeah, and I love what the chat said too. I mean, the Packers on Christmas. That's the one thing. It's why I have like a million notes off of the schedule, which I think was probably my favorite part of the release. It's just that there's actually a lot of cool narratives that you can pull out of it. And one being that I think it's cool, especially when Christmas falls on like a Friday, a Thursday, a Monday, a Sunday, a Saturday, right? Like you can squeeze games in there. So I think it's is it Colts Cardinals? Is that the night game? It's Browns Packers is the 4:30 Eastern, I guess. It's like Christmas afternoon game, but I think it's Colts Cardinals. I think.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing like we have time to find out eventually. We'll eventually get to Christmas, but no, I think it's fun, right? Like there's little wrinkles and stuff. And I'm looking down too. It's like it's hard to analyze what a good matchup is in May too. Right? You look at these things and you want to say something's going to be a good matchup, but like I said, like someone could be hurt. Like for example, what if Tom Brady gets hurt week 1? Then all of a sudden that New England game, probably just tickets are like $1,300, like the average ticket right now for that return.
It'd be crazy. But also the same point. Like even if Tom Brady doesn't get hurt, I'm not so sure it's going to be a competitive game anyway. Like it's going to be cool with Tom Brady making his return, but they're just so much better than the Patriots are. So as a Patriots fan, I feel like you're really only paying that money to just see Tom Brady again. Like I could be wrong, but I would venture to say they're going to be heavy underdogs in their own building.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I mean, literally the only reason why that I would tune into that game, and this is what's great about like fantasy football, is if you have a fantasy player, if you're going against someone, like you're going to watch it for that reason, So, but yeah, I agree. It's not too enticing to me. I was kind of wondering about the first game, the opening game on Thursday night, the Bucks and the Cowboys. I thought that was an interesting.
Yeah, I agree, and I'll say it's kind of almost like stitch this all together. So I pulled up a graphic too that everyone can see on the show, for the video folks, that is. But basically, like, it details like what all the Thursday night games in like one column, then like what are all the Sunday night football games in another column, what are all the Monday night football games in another column, what are the international games, what are the Christmas games? It is Colts and Cardinals, by the way, that Christmas game, and then what are the Thanksgiving games, which is pretty cool. It kind of breaks down like all the specialty games, if you will. And to your point, Zach, obviously being in the upper left hand corner, the first of the Thursday night games, at the Dallas Tampa game. It's funny though, Chad. I think about you all the time, saying how like the Dallas, the only team will never have to play a road game on a Thursday on short rest ever.
Did they get one this year, or are we just in our normal phase of life?
Let me see if they play. Yeah, because they do the thing after Thanksgiving again.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
That's Dallas for you.
Did you notice they didn't do a doubleheader on Monday night for Week 1 this year?
I missed that.
Mhm.
I liked that.
I kind of liked it as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I could do without it. Like, I just always feel like that one of those two games sucks. Like it's never
always Chargers Broncos or Raiders Chargers or Raiders Broncos. It's always one of those three teams are like playing each other.
Yeah, but I'm not even saying like that game is always the one that sucks. I'm just saying one of those two just seems to suck. So I'm not like just make it one. It's all we need is one game.
I don't know, Chad. How about that? See, the way I look at it is here. Almost like let me pull up the Week 1 matchup real quick. It's like, I got one. Let's say like Vikings Bengals is like all of a sudden another Monday night game. It's like, that's fun. You know what I mean? That's 1 o'clock on Fox. So it's like no one's gonna watch that. Will live vicariously through Red Zone per usual in a game like that. But that would be kind of fun, you know? It'd be kind of fun having that like the 9 o'clock game. It's like, oh, it's like, you know, kind of snazzes it up.
Speaking of Red Zone, I forgot to mention this because I had a little hiatus from draft on until Monday. But at the draft, Scott Hansen was one of the I guess it's not even in stadium. Like I was going to say in stadium host, but like one of the hosts like on the stage, in between picks, like announce, like, you know, talking to the crowd, all that kind of stuff. And I was on a break, so I was eating lunch and just kind of watching it, and I like heard Hansen's voice, and like immediately I like that's the kind of stuff that makes me feel football being back. Like hearing that man's voice, I like looked up and I was like, holy, you know, he's wearing pants. I'm seeing this man in some pants. Like, this is great.
Oh my god! I thought did you talk to him at all?
Did I talk to him?
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not. I did not go up to the stage and talk to him. But you know,
sorry,
from afar.
That's still pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's
no,
the best.
Yeah.
And to that point, like just looking at, I mean, I'm like looking. It's like, oh, like what are some eye candy games? The games I kind of pull out of these, right, are like return games, like Brady coming to New England, whether even if he was hurt, like he'll obviously be there. Like, you know, Week 1, Jared Goff going to LA. You know, Burrow and Lawrence, I think it's like Week 4.
Now that sounds like a perfect Thursday night game right there.
Burrow and Lawrence. I'm not sure when it is.
Probably isn't, but that just like screams Thursday night game for some reason. I think
it's not, because I know. Well, I'm trying to think. Actually, let me see. I don't think it is, but you're right. That does scream Thursday night. Let me take a look real quick. Prime time. Oh, it is. It is, Zach. Very good.
There you go.
Wow. Very good. You guys are Week 2 of Thursday night football?
Yeah, against Washington.
The Redskins. Okay.
The football team.
The football team, Kieran.
Oh, that's right.
Speaking of the football team, have you guys ever done a Sporkle? Played Sporkle? The website?
Yeah, is that the sports trivia thing?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's now turned into like, you know, everything trivia, but I love doing the sports ones on there. So there's this one on it where it's name, you know, the 6 teams in, you know, let's go with the NFL because this is the one I'm talking about. name 6 teams in the NFL that start with this letter, and you have 10 seconds to do it. And I got 5 out of 6 on this one, and the one I couldn't get was W. So I'm just sitting there like W, like who is W? And then the 10 seconds expires. It was Washington football team. I was like, okay, that's such horse manure. Yeah. Because like you think every other team, it's not the Philadelphia Eagles. Like the E was just the Eagles.
Right.
So I'm like, it just that got me, and I'm like, they need to get a new name again because.
Yeah, they're gonna get look. I was gonna say they're gonna get a new name right when we all start getting comfortable, like saying
with the
Washington football team. Absolutely, 100%. I swear, it's like almost like the game they're playing with us. But real quick, I was gonna say just want to talk about our teams real quick, just for fun. I feel like we all give ourselves a very human take, and honestly, if there's anyone in the chat that wants us to talk about their team, just give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you. Which one of us do we want to go first? I don't care.
Let's go Packers first. I want to hear some Packers talk.
Do you? You don't cheer you're off enough? You're too kind, Zach.
Yeah. What bye week do they got?
So we're actually week 13 bye. So,
okay.
Here, I'll pull it up for you real quick. So, get a glass of water here before I go all in here. All right, so I think there's a few takeaways, right? I know I'm overreacting because I think I even said on Monday, like, no matter what, good or bad, I'm not taking anything away from the schedule release. I kind of walked that back because I really didn't think they were going to max out the primetime games and obviously have us on Christmas. And basically, I feel like every other game is like a 4:25 game on Fox or CBS. So, yeah, it's a tough schedule. I mean, if we, instead of me making this about the Aaron Rodgers drama for once, I'm going to actually make it about something else. Although, no, we have to do it. Oh, we got Rise in the chat talking. Yeah, see, it's the call-in. We have to talk about it. I think he's going to be back. And that's kind of, it's perfect timing, Ryan, asking the question, because I think so. And I was saying, to you guys, obviously, a little bit before we jumped on the air and last night, that there's just too much money to be had with all this stuff that, like, if I just don't, I mean, I know what the schedule makers kind of just made it look like, oh, like, we hope he's back. What the hell are they going to say? Be like, well, yeah, we actually know more than you guys do. He will be back, and that's why we scheduled it the way it is, right? Like, what the hell are you actually going to say? No. But the reality is, I just don't think he's going to get moved. And I think I said this to you, Zach. Every single day that goes by, I know everyone wants to throw around that June 1st data because of the money, right? The reality is, Rodgers isn't going to get traded, and it's just, you keep looking at, and I'm glad you agree with me, Ryan, because I just think, I don't know, it's funny here, real quick, to that point, kind of what I was going to get to is, I feel like most of these guys that are making these comments on the media, and you guys can relate to this, are just like, it's the same take, and then you have folks like John Kuhn, James Jones, like friends of Rodgers that play with him, that are speaking otherwise. Here, I'll pull up a clip because I thought what John Kuhn said yesterday kind of was a very ringing endorsement that Rodgers will be back.
And Aaron and I are friends. I mean, we spent a decade of our lives together in the same meeting rooms on the same practice field. So we do talk. And quite frankly, this is something that I believe is fixable. He didn't tell me verbatim how to fix it or what necessarily needs to be done. But I do feel deeply in my heart that Aaron Rodgers wants to be a Green Bay Packer. He wants to win another Super Bowl for the Green Bay Packers, and he wants to play football this year.
There's just too many layers to this. I don't know. I obviously could go on a soapbox for forever, but what do you guys think? I mean, I'll feel free. We can obviously talk more about the Packers schedule. I'll give you that quick bullet point sec. My takeaways are, we play all the top 6 defenses from last year. That's pretty tough. They have a lot of road games in the front of the season. That's pretty tough. It's what it is. Like, you gotta go to Arrowhead. That's tough. But at the same point, like, you're supposed to be a good team. So, like, if you can run the ball and you can play good defense, like, I'm not concerned. If you're a good team, you'll still win those games. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys are one of the top offenses too. So, you have that to combat those defenses. And like you just said about having a lot of road games to start the season, if you think about it, like having that week 13 bye, and then if you have a bunch of home games along in that stretch, that could help, just from like a rest and just comfort perspective. But to Aaron Rodgers, yeah, I mean, I think he would be stupid to leave, to be honest with you, because like you have one of the best teams right with you right now, one of the most talented offenses. So why would you give that up? Like you're the team with the NFC Championship game 2 years in a row. So yeah, I think he'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to go through this kind of stuff. Like I just had it with Wentz, but it's so much different when your quarterback is as elite as Rodgers is.
It's not easy.
But the thing I keep coming back to is like the guy has a heavy opinion. You kind of always know what he's thinking. Maybe not at the exact moment, like, but at some point he'll come out and say like his actual thoughts. He always does. And there's been riffs and all that kind of stuff. But like, you have a young coach. You have players who, like Devontae Adams, had horrible hands his rookie year. Like everyone in this organization seems to get better as they grow. So I just feel like it's one of those things where he's going to come back and you're going to have another insane year. And it's just if you guys learn from the mistakes of last year, like that's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think like there's a lot of things like, and it's funny because I know everyone just wants to say like, oh, you'll never find a better place to win than Green Bay. Okay, well, like then you start wandering down those paths of like, well, maybe he wants more, maybe he wants this, right? Like, okay, so then I'll tell you, I don't know Aaron Rodgers, but I can tell you this much. I think if I'm a quarterback, and I think if I'm him, he doesn't like getting hit a whole lot. You saw how much he compliments his line. I mean, just in general, but just how much he kept alluding to the fact how much he enjoyed not being touched last year. And that's how he was able to play at such a high level because his body felt great, right? And so basically my point is having a line that has the depth that the Packers do, that has the zone blocking scheme, the success that they have, and the running game too as well, to kind of take some pressure off of him, and that pass rush that would be after him. He knows in the back of like the media doesn't care about that. People on Twitter don't care about that. He cares about that. Like if you're actually playing the game, you care about those little wrinkles, much like knowing the playbook, knowing the checks, knowing all those things. So like this is not us playing Madden where it's like, actually, I'm going to quit and change the Broncos and then we'll start playing again. Where it's just like, the plays are different, But like, no, like this is completely different. And it's a much more serious situation. So every day, in my opinion, that this, and that's why I think it's losing steam because I think, and it's funny how like the whole thing of Schefter coming out and being like, oh yeah, like well, there was never really a source that's kind of gathered information and just dropped it. It's like, okay,
yeah, like he was the source was him.
Did I tell you, Chad, he was going to walk it back? He's such a weasel.
Yeah, I mean,
he really is. Everyone acts like his words like the gospel. It's not. He does, because I've noticed with him and Rappaport, they both do the same thing where they always walk things back, where they'll basically just say like da-da-da-da, and then like when things are wrong, they'll be like, well, that's why we said it could be this, or that could have been that, but like we didn't have all the information at the time. And it's like, so we're reporting what we could have in the most accurate way we could have at the time. It's like, okay, wait till like just. So then people are like, oh yeah, they're always accurate. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. It's certainly not about the Packers. I guarantee they're like, if there's a team that they're normally wrong about, it's a team like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's annoying, and like, and you, like, especially in this day and age, like, it seems weird to say, but like, Adam Schefter does that, and then people like us have to deal with all of our friends sending us that same tweet like 400 times. And if it doesn't mean anything, like it's just like I have to sit there and be like, no, you're wrong. And then they're like, well, it's Adam Schefter, and I'm like, okay, well, Adam Schefter's wrong. And then like you're crazy, and I'm like,
no, you're wrong.
No, I'm like, I'm not crazy. Like he's crazy, but like, okay, like I'll let you win this.
Right. They're just like, so you're telling me that you're right and Adam Schefter's wrong, and you're just like, I'm not. Yeah, I guess I'm saying that. You might twist my arm that way, but that's not what I'm actually saying. I'm just more saying that I don't think he's right. Like, I don't know.
Insane. It's like the Joe Giglio effect. Like, if you throw 500 things at the wall and I call you crazy all 500 times, and then like the 5 times that it sticks, like everyone's like, well, you see, like he's right, and I'm like, okay, like I'm right the other I'm right the other 495 times.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and it's funny because that just jives into the point of it's it's funny, and I know Zach, like it's fun almost tying this all together. It kind of goes to that point we were talking about Monday with like the Eagles and Giants, where it was like, oh, I hope they play week 1. It's like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. It's like too early. I mean, actually, at that point, which one do you guys want to go first? We'll look at you guys.
I don't care, Zach.
Chad, you can go.
Okay. So here's my May outlook. It's I think the offense is all right. I think Jalen Hurts is good enough of a decision maker to lead an NFL offense, and has been putting, like, not just putting in the work as in, like, I see videos of him working out. Like, that's basically every athlete in this day and age. Like, you're going to see him working out as they should be. But he has, had talks with Sirianni, has a, basic understanding of the playbook, and has been working with his wide receiving core on having them, get some of these nuances into their brains. So I think we're going to be okay in that perspective on offense. Like, Miles Sanders and our entire running back core, to be honest, is pretty good. So I have no concerns there. The offensive line is back and healthy. If Dickerson can play it all this year, I don't know how much that injury will affect him into the season. Howie and Lurie have not given us an accurate depiction on what his role is going to be so far this year. But if he's healthy, he's a great backup opportunity for whenever one of these guys goes down throughout the season. But like, I already think we have a good line, which is nice to have on that offense. So offensively, I think we're going to be one of those teams that puts up 20 points a game, maybe a little bit more, depending on the game. But I just think our overall problem is going to be our defense. Like, if you go talk to somebody on the street and ask them to name 5 people on the Eagles defense next year, like, they're going to struggle beyond Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Darius Slay, just because, like, the names aren't there anymore. Like, Alex Singleton, he's really good at tackling. I don't know if it was Doug, if it was Jim Schwartz that wasn't playing him as much as he should have last year, or if there is a deficiency that we just don't see because the man makes every tackle, right? So his playing time is probably going to go up. Rodney McLeod's back. Like, he's going to be the anchor of the defense. But, like, other than that, it's a bunch of young guys. It's a bunch of young guys playing for us this year on the defensive end. So I really think it's going to be a tough one. Or they could show out and be a top 15 defense, which would make us a 500 team or a little bit better. I just don't think it's going to go that way. I think the defense is going to be our Achilles heel, and we're going to lose games like 24-21, 28-17. Like, just close games within.
Yeah, those aren't fun. Those 1:00 games are just like.
Yeah. Like, it's going to be more enjoyable to watch than last year, even if we're not a good team, record wise. But I just don't see our defense having enough firepower to compete with some of these offenses.
I think one thing with the Eagles, like, I feel like I say this every year because I genuinely feel this way, is like, I feel like you guys scare me every year is what I'm trying to say. But I feel like this year, like, the general, like, sports media, I feel like they're kind of being overlooked a little bit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are talking about, like, the Giants got this, the Cowboys, Dak's healthy now. Oh, and don't forget Washington with their defense. And it's like no one says anything about the Eagles, and it's like, Jalen Hurts has the tools, I think, to be very good. Obviously he still hasn't, like, fully proved himself yet, but he showed flashes. So yeah. I feel like what you guys have going for you also is, like, you can have that chip on the players, have their chip on that shoulder that no one's talking about us, like, and they're going to go out and they can go out there and prove everybody wrong.
The crazy thing about that is I gave up the underdog thing. I guess, 2018 I was saying a lot still, but, like, at a certain point you got to give up the stuff for the guy to the Super Bowl. But a lot of the key cogs in, like, being, like, the supporters of the underdog mentality are still on the team. Like, Lane Johnson's still there, Brandon Graham's still there, Fletcher Cox is still there. So it's going to be funny seeing them with that, kind of energy again. Yeah, you're right. Like, just everyone's overlooking us. But I a lot of times you'll hear me argue and say that, these media people are wrong. I don't think it's the wrong thing to overlook the team right now, just because there's so many question marks. Like, the head coach, the rest of the coaching staff beyond the head coach, the defense, and then even the offense. Like, I'm saying Devonta Smith is going to be good, and then the other wide receivers are going to be okay, and Dallas Goedert is going to play well. But who the hell knows? Like, Smith could be another bust. Like, and that's just the reality of the NFL. Is you have to wait and see what happens.
I think one thing that also, and not to just hype the Eagles up because obviously I'm a Giants fan, but is because that coaching staff is so unknown. That's also there's no tape on how Sirianni likes to call a game. So that's also an advantage, especially in that first half of the season.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I just added too. I think your division's tough. Like it's funny because I looked at both, and it's funny. It's like almost like a perfect way, like kind of merging in with the Giants. Because I looked at both you guys before we jumped on the show, and I was just like, damn, like. It's just the teams you're playing. It doesn't really matter if they're home or like any game you play in the NFC East. I think is going to be tough, right? Like I don't know. I just think it will be in general. And then what you guys have the AFC West. Okay, that's not a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like okay, and then you got the AFC or the NFC South.
Yep.
That's also not a walk in the park. So it's just like, oh, that's fun. Because I literally just went through that. I went through the South last year and then the West 2 years ago in the AFC. So it's like,
and if you want to make it even less fun, we both play Brady on primetime. So
yeah, that's not good.
Like it's not even like we get him like the 1 o'clock where he's still waking up a little hungover. Like we're getting him when he's ready to go.
No, yeah, that's not good. I mean, let me pull up the Giants schedule real quick. Zach, you're an optimistic person. What were you feeling when you looked at the old G-Men's schedule this year?
Well, I was bringing up one point real quick.
Go for it.
We talked about this on Monday about how all these divisional games in the beginning and then at the end of the season. So when I look at the Giants schedule, we only have 2 divisional games before our Week 10 bye. And then 4 of our last 8 games are divisional game, which I like because I think that goes to what we were talking about, how we want to see it be more meaningful.
Not to interrupt, isn't Washington have like 5 straight to close the season out or something like that? It's a record, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure Washington. It's someone in your division. I'm pretty sure Washington has 5 to close the year out.
Wow.
And the other one is week 2.
Yeah, against us, I guess. Yeah.
So they go from week 2 playing one of them, and then they have nobody in the division.
That's wild. Let me double check that. But sorry, Zach, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah, no, you're fine. And then the other thing that kind of worries me, I guess, with overall, I like our schedule. I like the opponents we have. And, the primetime stuff is cool and everything. But when I look at our last 9 games, we only 3 of them are at home. Like 6 of our last 9 games are away, which is pretty – like we go bye week, then we have an away game, which is fine because we're coming off a bye. But then we're home, 2 away, home, 2 away, and then home. So, I feel like that could be a little bit of a disadvantage. But at the same point, I kind of like our opponents and the way that it's shaped out. So, hopefully – and the other thing is we're not really traveling super far. I think the furthest we travel, we've traveled to Los Angeles, but besides that, I'm looking and everything is Eastern time zone, except for I think 2 or 3 are Central time zones. So we're not like it's not like we're all over like going to Seattle, LA, San Fran, Arizona, whatever. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's not as horrible as it looks to me. Yeah. But overall, like from a team perspective, there was something interesting I saw one of the Giants beat writers posted. So some quarterback matchups that against the Giants this year. We have Drew Lock, Ryan Fitzpatrick twice, if he still is the quarterback there, whatever that situation. Jameis Winston, Sam Darnold, Derek Carr, Tua, Justin Fields, and they listed Jalen Hurts too, more so from we still haven't seen much from him yet perspective. So and that's I think 11 total games is those 2 because we play Fitzpatrick twice and Hurts twice. So and this person was saying they were like, if Jones can just be slightly better or just the same as those quarterbacks, we should be able to maybe be a playoff team. So when you look at it from that perspective, there's a lot of opportunity this season for us. It's really going to come down to Jones as it always does.
Good point. I mean, just in general, the quarterback matchups. No, and I agree. I mean, I think it's funny because my note for you, Zach, was actually, no, this is my menu thing for you. Do you want to just do the menu because it's football related now? We just kind of mix it up and just jump in.
Sure.
All right, so we're going. Spoiler alert: Zach has to do the Giants and Daniel Jones. If you can guess, are you ordering this off the menu? Right. This is Daniel Jones' make or break here. There's absolutely no excuses. One way or the other, basically after this year, no matter, and blank check, right? No matter how this goes, you'll be able to answer the question, yes, he is our guy or he's not after this year.
Yeah, I'm ordering that 5 times in a row. Keep it coming, buffet style. I mean, seriously, yeah, absolutely, this is his make or break year. Yeah, I don't think there's any more excuses now. So,
well, what if I was
But he.
What if I said the line
together.
needs more time to gel? They're young. Like, I mean,
No, I can't do that. No. So this is what, his third season. So he showed a lot of potential, but he needs to. It's the same conversation. He needs to stop with the ridiculous fumbles in the pocket, the turnovers, the lack of awareness in the pocket. So he's got the tools there, and I mean, everyone, like, I know our Giants group chat is concerned about our offensive line, but I mean, I'm personally not super concerned, because think about it. It's a second year together with the same unit, or the majority of the same unit. Some cohesiveness there, some getting used to each other. I don't know, some more experience. So I don't think there's any excuses, for sure. I think this is absolutely a make or break season for him.
you got anything out there, Chad? I agree.
No, yeah,
I concur.
If you keep on making or having the amount of turnovers that he does as a quarterback, like it just, you have to push the escape button, and if he goes and plays out of his mind somewhere else, so be it. But to just when you're at the opponent's 30-yard line and he drops back and lets the ball fall out of his hands and he's barely touched, that's tough. Like, you just went on a whole drive to get down there, and then more than likely they're going to have good field position going the other way, and it can lead to points. So it's not great when you have a quarterback that causes the turnover. So I think if he goes out there and has just like an average season, like statistically, as in passing yards and touchdowns, but gets his turnovers down by 6 to 10, I think we're having a different conversation, because we're kind of like, okay, well, the improvement came on, he didn't turn the ball over as much, and then you can go from there. But if he has the same amount of turnovers he's had in year 1 and 2, absolutely not.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, we talked about that stat. What was it, a few weeks ago? What was it, like that they're 4-17 or something when he turns the ball over 1+ times a game? And I'm like, well, he's up to 27 games. That's 21 out of 27 games. He's done that. That's horrifying.
I mean, you can blame Evan Ingram for a couple drops he's had, but I can blame Daniel Jones for a lot more for turnovers that he's had that single-handedly cost us the game. So
yeah,
he reminds you right now of a guy at the plate here hitting a home run or striking out. Which, and you're just I need to see a guy who can just hit some singles.
Yeah, I like his athleticism and what he has shown, but yeah, I just need to see that. I need to see that step with, like Chad said, if you put up Alex Smith or Ryan Fitzpatrick's type numbers, just limit the turnovers. I'm happy with that. I can deal with it.
I mean, I'm not calling the Giants the Buccaneers, but think about the Bucs. They went from Jameis Winston, who was exactly what Kieran just said, the home run hitter or the strikeout guy. And everyone would always say, dude, they got some really good wide receivers down there. The offensive line's good. The defense is actually kind of okay too, but they're just always on the field because Jameis has turned the ball over nonstop. And then you bring Brady in at the end of his career, who can barely throw the ball more than 40 yards, but is the most accurate guy of all time. And all of a sudden they win a Super Bowl. So it really, this league comes down to like Kieran started the show by saying sometimes these games come down to a play or a sequence of plays. Not sometimes, a lot of times. So when there's unforced errors and they result in a turnover, it's just never good.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I think just I look at the Giants' schedule. I'm like, you just got to start playing well. You can't do this thing again where you're 2-6 or something where it's just or 3-5 or whatever. All right, but to that point, let's keep it the NFC East here, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ordering off the menu that it was disrespectful that the Eagles only got 2 primetime games, with the caveat, right, that it's almost all the restaurants just gave you water. They didn't even give you the bread. No, they didn't even give you the bread. That's it. Water and bread. That was it. Thursday night, Monday night. You have to play one of them. Right? Everyone plays a Monday night game. Everyone pretty much plays a Thursday night. Well, I think it's vice versa. Everyone plays a Thursday night game, but then I think everyone's supposed to play Monday night, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So it's congratulations. You got your sticker, with everyone else, in class. That's it. Then once the minute started actually getting to okay, then we'll have more people do this. You were left out in the cold. Was that disrespectful?
I don't think so. I think they got a lot of flack last year with these NFC East games being on primetime nonstop, and like for the entire world that wasn't an NFC East fan, like all the games were horrendous. I mean, they were all close. It was crazy. Like, they would all come down to the wire. But it would be coming down to the wire because each team had 4 turnovers. And it just looked bad. It was not a good look for the NFL. I think that's what you deserve. You have a bad season. Everyone thinks your GM is the worst GM in all of sports. Fires the coach. The quarterback's gone. Like, there's a lot of uncertainty. So I don't mind the decision at all. But what I will say is, like, if the Eagles start hot, like, they're going to get more primetime games. Like, that's just part of the good thing about, the market, the Philadelphia market is whenever they're good, like, the games are going to come. Like, they'll kick some other people off, which is I'm fine with. Like, if we're good enough, we're going to have more primetime games. If we're not, they'll keep the same schedule this year.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen teams get flexed later in the season because of reasons like you said, Chad? You get a team who's on a hot streak that you didn't think would be, and they just do the old switcheroo. So,
yeah.
Well, it's funny, Zach. You mentioned a special that I'm looking at on the menu myself right now that I'm thinking of ordering. I'm not sure yet. Maybe
I thought of a little appetizer to ask you.
Oh, please! I'm all
for both of you. Actually, I got appetizers for both of you.
Wow.
Real quick, what is your go-to appetizer? Just out of curiosity.
Mod sticks.
That's a good one.
That was one of my first ones I thought of, and calamari is good too.
Yeah. Isn't that the starting quarterback according to Keith Talib for the Cardinals? Calamari. Remember that with the Keith Talib was doing the Eagles Cardinals game.
Calamari.
Calamari.
Oh my god, that was the worst.
Calamari, but anyway,
the worst ever.
That was a rough broadcast.
Potato
skins are underrated, by the way. But go ahead. I'm interested now. I like appetizers.
Yeah, so we can keep this one short. But all right. So for Kieran, so are you ordering off the menu that all the off-season drama with Aaron Rodgers will essentially hurt Green Bay's chances because it's too much of a distraction heading into the season? Like, will it affect the team in a negative way?
No, and I actually think I'll take a staple out of it. It depends on how it shakes out. If it shakes out the way I think it will, where he's going to be back. Look at this. Shout out some, they got some good vibes from Spain in the chat. Look at that. Talking some football. Yeah, we got there's a Spanish team that knocked out Arsenal in the Europa League. That pissed me off. But that's an Arsenal problem. That's not a Spain. I'd love to go to Spain. But anyway, not to dodge the question. So I think it goes back to what you were talking about a few weeks ago, how you were saying, like, not that I think this is the plan, but how you were saying you think that, like, maybe this was partially to get over these NFC Championship hangovers. I think if anything, that's all it's going to be. It's no different. It's like, think of it's like this: you're a freshman in college, a sophomore in college, right? And you go to a party at Penn State Berks, and it's an apartment party, and then the lights are out, and then the strobe lights going, and then the Teddy Brewskis are flowing, and then all of a sudden there's like the bang 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 bang, and it's like, officer, and like the lights come on, and it's just like, and everyone's like, shh, like, right? Oh, yeah. I'm sure you've experienced that once or twice at Penn State Berks, right? The whole get up.
Good times.
Oh yeah, great times, right? Actually, I've never actually been to that campus before, but I've heard stories.
Well,
right?
It's nice though.
Yeah. So, but to that point, it's right, like, and then once they leave, it's just like, maybe you weren't even having that much fun at the party beforehand, but now it's everyone's like, yo, like, let's have a good time now. It's like, that's my hope, right? Like, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you want me to ask Chad's appetizer, or do you want to go on your
Please, I love it. Yeah. No.
All right. So I'm going to get your opinion. So Kerryon Johnson will free up the Eagles offense and be a huge, just a huge playmaker / just benefit for the offense this year.
I would say I'm going to, instead of ordering that appetizer, I'm going to get the sampler because I really feel like that's what our backup running backs are going to be. It's going to be Boston Scott, Kerryon Johnson, and Jordan Howard. Maybe one of them gets cut in camp, and that's just the lowest on the totem pole. But, like, Miles Sanders is going to be a consistent guy, getting all the touches. Boston Scott, like, we've seen him play a role the past 2 seasons where he's just that little Energizer bunny. I mean, he doesn't have it every game, but when he does have it, like he's pretty electric in his like small amount of touches. And then having somebody like Kerryon or Jordan Howard who can just run through the tackles, like Kerryon Johnson, like I forget exactly what the stat was, but it was like his rookie year, he was averaging like 4.7 yards through the tackles, like per carry. Like that's something you lack with Miles Sanders, who likes to get on the outsides and find open space. So I think we're going Sampler on this one, and that we have a really good starting running back, and I think we have a couple guys that can just fill some holes to be his backup.
Also, I was looking at the chats. We've got to find a way to get some subtitles in here for the audience, because especially what a world that would be for technology.
On Facebook, you can.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Also,
on Facebook.
Also, Joe G with the little Sam Rogers is a bigger diva than OBJ. It's just that's like that's what is this, hockey, Joe? Where it's like, you're slapping at my skates like, do you want to go? You want to go right now? It's like, and I'm just like, I don't want to go. Like I'm tired of even scamming the Flyers. I haven't won tonight. Like I don't want to go right now. Like it's funny. Oh, well, it's funny. Hey, remember you? Can I tease you for a second, Zach? I love you, but I remember speaking of the Packers, and I believe we were sitting like right in this section at the church, and you told me that OBJ was going to be better than Jerry Rice when it was all said and done.
I said that?
Yeah, you said he was the best. You said he was the best wide receiver, and he would be the best wide receiver. And I was like, even better than Jerry Rice. You said he would be. Dude, he had a hell of a catch on the back of that end zone.
He did. I will say that was
insane.
great. That was like an our end zone. That was a great catch. But I must have had one too many Nuglares that night.
No, I mean, where you were going with it wasn't wrong. I actually think, if anything, you just basically said if he just gets it together, he could get to that point. Which, who's to say he would? It's hard. He's a weird.
It's a weird case.
He's like in that Juju realm where it's like he's got enough of personality to keep him relevant regardless of what he's doing. We're dropping the gloves. Well, here's the thing with the Rodgers. I don't think Rodgers is a diva. See, look at this. I'm I'm getting sidetracked now. I'm like crisscrossing. It's like someone's just spilling like coffee over my keyboard. All right, well, I can regroup.
I think he is being a little bit of a diva, but nothing tops OBJ.
I think it's so. See, to me, I don't know who leaked what, how it got leaked, when it got leaked, what's actually going on. I don't know. Anyway, I know I was just busting your chops with OBJ.
No, that's all right.
That was a hell of a catch, though. I do remember that. I was just like,
yeah, what was the score? Like 38-17?
No, because do you remember I literally said, I was like, so help me God if they fumble on this next drive. And then James Starks fumbled, and thank God we recovered it. But I just remember like my heart just like sank. It was just like,
remember the one guy we sat next to, because Bobby Rainey was on the Giants at that time, and the guy we sat next to played with him in college.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he sucks or whatever. And then I think the guy next, he said something.
He's like, yeah, I played at Western Kentucky with him or whatever.
I was like, oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, he's not that bad. Like,
yeah, he's not bad. It's emotional.
God, I'm trying to think. We had some adventures. Yeah, to that point, is there any road games you guys are looking at, or any venue in particular? Actually, no. Let's go to the chat real quick here. What is your opinion on Tyreek Hill?
Wait, what?
We're going into the chat here.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your opinion about Tyreek Hill?
But in a like his, I'm trying to put words.
Probably just like in the realm of like
ability.
What's actually, I mean, really, that's there's a lot to
different answers there, because like on the field, I think he's a really great player, and like his speed is always going to be there. But like off the field, like he's not really the greatest person.
No, I think that's fair. Now I think let me add it in, because I would almost argue. I'm not gonna say who's your top 5 wide receivers, but it's just like, give me 3 you love.
Is he in that conversation, the top 3?
Yeah, is that like a fun like?
I think it's Devontae, Julio, and him. Like I
Thomas.
Or DeAndre Hopkins.
I don't. DeAndre Hopkins would be the one that would slide in over him, but I'm not a big Michael Thomas guy, and I'm also not a big why is the name slipping from my memory right now? DK Metcalf guy. I think he's very good and very skilled.
Metcalf's
but
another good one.
I don't think
Stephon
he's on.
Diggs?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of names. Like, you can keep throwing the names out there. I just think that the stuff that Tyreek Hill can do on a football field is like Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh Steelers type things. Like, he is just really quick. Like, he finds that open space, and it almost seems like anytime the Chiefs need a touchdown or need a big play, like, he's making that play.
Well, I think the biggest thing, so it's interesting when you look at all these points about like receivers and the pack, it doesn't matter who it is, what team, you're only as good as your line. I truly believe it's almost like a fisherman's only as good as like the bait they use, the rod they use, like whatever water they're actually fishing in. That's kind of how I feel like with wide receivers. It's like that's the fish to rod connection, the quarterback to wide receiver, but all those other variables around it are what make that connection actually go, right? Like the water in the like, you know, the body of water you're fishing in is like that. Like that's my analogy for tonight.
Nice.
It's true.
It makes sense, yeah. The wide receivers cannot get open if the line doesn't give the quarterback, 4 seconds to throw the ball.
No, I mean, I saw it with the Packers last year, obviously, in the NFC Championship game. But yeah, no, I think it's just fun talking about, because I was saying to Joe too, like it's real now, right? Like you see the games and the games on the calendar. It's like you can kind of like it's real.
Yeah.
Is there any game?
Buy tickets.
Sorry, go ahead, Chad.
No, I was just saying you can buy tickets, like that kind of stuff. Like you get excited.
Are there any games you guys are like planning on going to, whether it's an away game or a home game, like that really sticks out to you?
I'm gonna be at the home opener, and that's I know everybody's saying it, but like it's for me personally, like with my schedule I had with my old job and just not being able to have weekends available, especially during football season, I just have not been able to enjoy the tailgating experience that a lot of us get to have in our 20s, 30s, and I mean Eagles fans, their whole lives. But I want to get down there. I haven't been down there in a while, and it's like I have to be there for that game.
Yeah, I mean, from a road perspective, Baltimore is a stone's throw away from us, obviously in southeastern Pennsylvania. So I'll try to probably see that one in December, and then probably try to go out to Arrowhead, see the KC Crew for that one, and then obviously pick a game up at the old church. I would love to go. Oh yeah, I would. It's fine. I would love to. Well, especially now with everything going on, it's like you want to try to see as many games kind of as possible before like the stint might run out. So I gotta look. The Lions game right out of the gate, Chad. It's funny you were saying that, because I was kind of thinking the same thing. It's like this probably just wants to be there that first game, just because like there's just going to be some magic in the air with a full service at the church.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it was funny yesterday when it came out that officially came out that the NFL is expecting to have 100% capacity, and something had leaked that the city of Philadelphia wasn't going to allow tailgating, and I was just like, yeah, okay, we're going to go through the whole summer of everything being open, and they're going to tell Eagles fans they can't tailgate, okay. And then today, stuff actually dropped for the Phillies that June 12th is when the Philly stadium's going 100% capacity, and literally included in the statement was 100% capacity and tailgating. And I was like, yeah, okay, so yeah, I was right. There's no way.
By the way, I feel so bad our accents. I'm looking at the chat. So this is great. Oh, I love the international connection we got cooking here. But this is great. I love the chat. The chat's always great every night. These are always the fun connections, and but we definitely, as Philadelphians, if you will, I know Zach gives the New York stuff on, so you don't really want to be associated in that category. But unfortunately, if we're saying water and chocolate and all and Gaffin, then we're kind of all in that boat.
Did you see this SNL skit?
Oh no, which one?
People were freaking out over it. I thought it was great. It was the Mayor of Easttown. Is that what that show is called? I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
It was a spoof off of that, and it was just like
was this? Wait, hold on. Did you hear? I'm sorry. No, actually, keep going. I'm wrong. Sorry.
Well, it was just like it's like a 5-minute video of all the characters from the show in like a spoof in Delco. So they all had Delco accents, and everyone was like mad that they didn't get the Delco accent right. Which, I mean, it wasn't 100%, but it was pretty damn good. But it's a murder thing, so like they're just like, he murdered my dirter. Like, and that thing, the whole thing kept on going like, my dirter had a dirter and he murdered my dirter. It was so great. I was cracking up.
Did you hear Mina? Was it Mina Kimes or whatever from ESPN? She tried doing it.
No, was it bad?
It was like, here's a chalkboard. Here's like just the nails like all over it. It was just like.
Well, what we need to do is we need to get Fitz back on the show one of these days and just get him to imitate the your future wife that he always says you're going to have.
Oh my God.
Jack, have you ever heard this?
Mm.
So Fitz is convinced Kieran's future wife is going to be from Delco, and just be screaming at Kieran on Sundays, be like, your daughters, and he always uses words.
Your father's a Packers fan.
Your father's a Packers fan. We're gonna be watching the Bears, but
we're going to the Bears, go to Wawa, getting hoagies.
It's so funny.
Oh my God. What's that for? Real quick, any good action on the weekend coming up here, Zach?
Well, I got the Byron Nelson for the old PGA Tour, which is a pretty big tournament in Texas, and then that leads us right into the PGA Championship next week. So
there we go. I love it.
I think we have. Give me one sec here.
And real quick, do you guys know anything about Spanish soccer? So is it Valeria, I believe? So I'm an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, we have a big Formula One race.
Preakness
coming up.
You and your Formula One all of a sudden, Chad. This is funny. I like this.
The 23rd. Watch out, Monaco. They literally race through the streets of Monaco.
That's cool.
That's
the one. Experience a little chop on the way there.
You're gonna get me in. You're gonna get me into this.
Yeah, I mean, Zach, this is a sport that I feel like I thought you were a fan of.
Yeah,
but it's great.
Perfect.
All right, so we need to get Atletico de Madrid. By the way, that should be our team first. Do we have a Spanish soccer team yet?
Atletico de Madrid.
Let's do that.
Let's do it. I just wrote it down. We're in.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down myself.
Just like the Lotte Giants.
Yeah, you know what? That was a year ago when we started pulling for those guys. Is their season starting up soon?
I have no clue.
Boys, come on now. Alexa, when did the Lotte Giants start their season?
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, it's okay. Alexa, who does Atletico de Madrid play next?
Atletico Madrid and Osasuna will face off at Estadio Wanda Metropolitano in Madrid, Spain on Sunday, May 16th at 12:30 p.m. in La Liga.
All right, we got a 12:30 assignment Sunday. Be there. Add that to the list, boys. For perfect. Let's go. Yeah, we got this.
We'll have that in Monday's show. We'll have some notes.
Yeah, so that's it. That's gonna be the squad then. I think about So that's who we're supporting. So we're gonna support Atletico de Madrid.
Perfect.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, that'll be our La Liga team.
Let's do it.
Nice.
He's like, they're playing. I saw it on FanDuel. I love it. All right, real quick before we wrap things up. So anyone that was looking to see, they could be champion on Sunday, guys.
Oh, big game, big match,
big game, huge game. This is
big match.
This is bandwagon action for us. This is what it's all about. And real quick, I guess this is. I should probably fix the graphic. Next week, Myron Mixon will hopefully be joining us. Like I said, we'll stick to social media and we'll give you updates on when he'll be joining us to that point. If you want to check us out on Spotify and iTunes for all the audio episodes, you can. Social media, it's Instagram and Twitter. It's @_GetSidetracked. And then r/get sidetracked is the Reddit page. And then make sure you visit our website, www.get-sidetracked.com. Thank you so much. And this is great. The show is great tonight. I'm trying. Is it Zalong MX? I think I'm awful with reading the different names, and I feel so bad. That's why I just try to, I should have done a better job learning how to read as a kid. Actually, I really think that was something I really didn't manage as well. My literacy skills. Phonics, I half-assed. I really think of the analogy part though. It's like light is to matches as like water is to sink. But whatever. All right. Anyway, Follow and subscribe to us on Twitch. Follow the hearts on the left, subscribe to the right. And then make sure you check us out on YouTube. Highlights, interviews, all sorts of cool stuff as well. On the YouTube channel, it's free to subscribe. And if you're really feeling the love, you can always go, to the Sidetrack store. It's always cool stuff on there. Yeah. I love this. Yeah, we're gonna see what we're gonna learn. We'll supply some tactics on the NFL fronts, and then you guys can help us out with the Spanish soccer. See, this is big. 12:30. We should all bet on them. By the way, that's what we should really do.
Let's do it.
I'm down.
That's how I became an Arsenal fan. So awesome. All right, but also to that point, we're gonna wrap things up here. Zach, I know you got some work to do. So one thing, this was a lot of fun. It was great. We had a lot of folks, watching tonight. We had a lot of fun. So we'll be back in the living room Monday at 8:00 or 7:00. I don't know why the hell I said 8:00. I'm feeling like softball. But like I said, check us out on social media for all the cool stuff for updates.